Gomer here with the fifth of my instructional videos on GitSync. The previous four are listed here in the order you should have seen them before watching this one. Here's a network diagram depicting how we left off after the fourth video, where Venus sets up Mercury as a pull peer and sets up Pluto as a push peer. Venus and Pluto are read-only clones of changes that go on Mercury. In this video, what we're going to do is change Venus from a read-only node to a read-write node. What this means is that it's going to clone the changes from Mercury, but any changes made locally on Venus will also be reflected on Pluto. Pluto will be the merge of what goes on Mercury and what goes on Venus. So here we have set up a window on Mercury, a window on Venus, and a window on Pluto, and we can see that they're in sync now. In this window I have the config file up for Venus, which we're going to be changing shortly. Now, just to review, if I go into Mercury and I create a new file, momentarily it will appear here on Venus, which is set up as a read-only node still. There it is. And it should show up here on Pluto, and there it is. Everything seems to be up and running. So what I'll do is I'll go into the config file and change this from a read-only node to a read-write node. And just that easily, Venus is now read-write. So that if we repeat the test here and set up another file, it should show up here and on Pluto, just as if we hadn't changed Venus to a read-write node. But if we go into Venus and we touch a new file, we'll call it ZVenus, we see that it shows up here, and it should also show up here on Pluto, but not on Mercury, because Mercury is not reading or pulling from anywhere, and nobody is pushing to Mercury. Mercury is its own copy. Venus now says, I want the changes from Mercury, but I also want to be able to make my own changes. Pluto takes the changes that Venus pushes it. So it's going to be a combination of the changes that Venus got from Mercury and the local changes on Venus. And of course that'll work if you want to remove files as well. Let's remove all the Mercury files here on Venus, and they should disappear here on Pluto. But of course they're still here on Mercury. Again, Mercury is not pulling changes from anywhere. From its point of view, it is a peerless node that somebody happens to be pulling its changes. Somebody happens to be pulling changes from Mercury, but Mercury is not pulling changes from anywhere else. So that's the read-write node. And as these diagrams as your needs get more complicated, you can have more and more peers with more and more configurations to suit whatever business needs you're trying to suit. That's the read-write node. In the next video, what I'll do is go over some of the care and feeding of GitSync nodes. Watch out for it, and thanks for watching.